Hello folks, today we will break down mechanics in the strike mission against Dagda on challenge mode. Now let's go and learn the boss. Different than normal mode, there is a 10-minute enrage timer which makes the fight kind of a DPS race. Dagda will start the fight with lighting up the room, and this skill is called planetary weight. If this mechanic is failed on normal, this was a huge damage, but on CM it's instant wipe. I would recommend range classes over melee classes for this fight because there are times you'll need to stand far from the boss. Not for long, but it's better to use time efficiently on this boss. One easy mechanic we know from normal is the arrow mechanic. Just like on the normal mode, on CM mode, the player that's chosen needs to hide behind their allies, and at least 4 of them, or else they will instantly die. Staying a bit back helps your squad to align themselves between you and the boss. There are 2 indicators on Dagda's HP bar you'll need to keep an eye on during the fight. One of them is demonic resistance and the other is purple broken shield. Demonic resistance decreases the damage Dagda takes 10% for every stack. And oftentimes she will have 10 stacks, which is 100% damage reduction. Since there's a timer, keeping this buff off the boss is the utmost priority of this fight. Keep an eye out for those glowing lights dropping on the floor. Scoop them up and use your special action key on the boss. Each special action key will remove 5 stacks, so you need to shoot the boss twice. Orange circles are also another mechanic. This is pretty straightforward. Everyone splits to not to stack damage. It's CM, so stacking is definitely not advised. Now there is a tip I can give here. These lights in your special action key will disappear as soon as Dagda's stacks come back. The mechanic is designed that way. So if you gather these lights too early, your special action key will be gone when the stacks are back on the boss. Because special action key only stays for 15 seconds on the player, but there are more time between Dagda getting her stacks back. So I recommend getting the lights when the broken shield starts flickering. That way special action key will stay with you when the boss gets their stacks back. If you don't do it this way, lights spawn a little after the stacks come back, so use a little bit of precious time waiting for the new lights. The next mechanic is Roman numerals. Players will be targeted with Roman numerals. If you get hit by these, you get extreme vulnerability debuff, which will make you vulnerable to little damage. And don't mind me just standing here because we were still learning the mechanics with my group, but this projectile can definitely be sidestepped, blocked or dodged. Also, you shouldn't be standing between the players with the numerals on them and the boss, or you'll get hit by the mechanic and it's deadly. Next skill is spinning nibula. Dagda teleports to a plane not too far from the middle of the platform. Not following the boss is advised, hence why I suggested range classes, because she will spawn an AoE under her and will be spinning and shooting projectiles. Each projectile gives players damage debuff, 25% reduction per stack that stays for 3 minutes. So it is better if damage players stay further, or since these are projectiles, you can block them with pets, max, or with your healers. next mechanic is Soul Feast. Remember the tiny smoke pool in the normal mode? Now there are this many of them. You'll get a writing on your screen that says, "You're targeted by Soul Feast, run," and then you start kiting. And it's not hard to kite, but what makes it hard is the other things going on the platform. Sometimes you'll be stuck to the edges of the platform, sometimes smooshed to the middle, but you need to kite these away from your group. You can also get rid of these AoEs by using special action key and the light, but since there are too many of them, and it's not too hard to kite once you get used to the mechanic, my group didn't really spend time on destroying them to focus more on the DPS, and we just chose to trust the person that kites it. One other important mechanic comes 4 times at specific percentages called Demonic Blast. Getting hit by these pie-shaped Demonic Blast gives player 25% damage reduction debuff that stays for 3 minutes again. Demonic Blast at 75, 50 and 25% comes with a huge red AoE in the middle. The red AoE will damage players a huge amount. Here, what you can do is prioritizing dodging the pie shapes, and as boss pushes the players outside, you should safely move towards the edges. On this phase, you'll be killing 3 champions. After champions are dead, the fight continues. I would recommend being careful of the AoEs you need to kite here because space you can use is pretty limited. Also, I have to mention Soul Feast and Demonic Blast are 2 mechanics that will apply a condition called residual anxiety on players. This is really important because if a player reaches 10 stacks, they will side with Dagda, they will be an enemy player, and the enemy player can actually give buffs to Dagda. Sounds fun to me, but not good for the fight. Green circles, as always, is the ultimate team hug. On CM, there will be 2 of them spawning, and you need at least 3 players in each to survive. On CM mode, it is recommended to split these greens because there are some issues with stacking them. And the last mechanic we will talk about is when Dagda covers half of the platform. There will be a Meteor Shower on the other side of the platform, and staying on this AoE will hurt you a lot, so leave that part of the platform as soon as possible. This mechanic is not a huge issue when you stack with the group, but if you get caught when you're kiting the AoEs around or when you went to grab a light, it becomes a problem. But it's a rare issue, so I wouldn't recommend getting a teleport skill just for that. But if you have a DPS class that has a teleport skill coming from its build, that would be a good choice for this fight. It will help you a lot. And there you have it, Dagda's challenge mode in a nutshell. If you found this guide helpful, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, Don't forget to check Guildgen's guides, I'll link in the description below, because we are now, as you know, collaborating with the powerhouse Guildgen. Until next time, happy hunting!